Still setting up. Still setting up. Cool. We in. Got it. Let's get it. Yo, welcome back to another great episode of Across the Plane, episode 119. I am one of your hosts tonight, Marcel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram at styles_rapidslife. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at styles_rapidslife. Even follow me on TikTok at styles_rapidslife. I don't really post that much, but still, come give me a follow on all my socials. Yeah, man, we got a great show, man. Bears won, man. Bears won. Yeah, man. But yeah, make sure you go give me a follow.
Yo, what is going on? It is Will. As always, check me out at Sports Talk Willie. And as always, check out the main page. Week 1 of NFL is in the books. It was so fun to get back to the NFL season. I cannot wait to get into it.
Jake the Rookie, THA like Across the Plane. Follow both of those. Subscribe to the YouTube. And yeah, we got our week 1 NFL recap coming up. It was an exciting week 1.
Yeah, that's right. And to kick things off, NFL opening nights, we had the Buffalo Bills versus the LA Rams. LA Rams defending champs. So, man, I really thought the Rams at home defending champs would, I didn't think they would handle the Bills, but I thought they could beat the Bills. But, man, do the Bills currently look like one of the best teams in football right now? I think. Well, three of the 4 of us picked him to at least go to the Super Bowl.
I had him winning it.
Yeah. No, I believe only us 2 had him going to the Super Bowl. Now that I think about it, Will had the Ravens and Tristan had the Chiefs. But anyway, yeah, man, I'm feeling really confident about that team going to the Super Bowl, man. They looked really good on week 1, and that included Josh Allen throwing 2 interceptions. Once again, they did not punt. Credit, they did have 3 turnovers, but they did not punt the entire game. So
the team just looked very prepared.
Yeah, they looked legit. Josh Allen played amazing. He threw for 3 touchdowns and ran one in. He was just so on point. Stephon Diggs is looking like one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, like he absolutely is. And Von Miller, 2 sacks in his debut for the Bills, man. That's a big difference maker right there.
That is a needle mover for sure. I think that might be why I like them in the Super Bowl. I mean, my guy already has 2 for 2 teams. I feel like, this could be the Danny Green of the NFL, give him another ring.
Yeah, man. I don't
Week
know.
1, I know it's early, but I like the prediction. I like my predictions so far out of my Super Bowl teams. They both looked really good.
Well, I still like one of mine. The other one didn't look as great. It didn't look as good. But we'll talk about them later. But yeah, man, Bills. Hey, I would love to see the team get to the Super Bowl. They're probably the most complete team in the NFL right now. It's only week 1 though. We got a long way to go. Yeah, we got a long way to go. Lots of games to be played. Oh, yeah. Football is back when the Falcons blow a double-digit 4-quarter lead. Yes, man. Football is back, and the Falcons are choking leads away again, man. Once again, the Atlanta Falcons were up 26-10.
I was starting to believe in Will's 8-win Falcons.
I think they can get to it, man.
I was watching this game, and I was like, and then the way it ended, I was like, okay, yeah, 3-win Falcons sound more right.
Yeah, man, that team,
they fell apart. They couldn't score.
But we shouldn't be surprised, man. It's literally what the Falcons do.
But you have the best kicker in football. You should at least be able to put 3 up.
The best kicker in football relies in Baltimore. But yeah, I agree. I agree, man. But the Falcons do what the Falcons do best, and that is blow leads, not do smart things. I mean, they had a chance to win at the end. They had a Younghoe Koo attempt. Was it 63 yards? I think
it was pretty far.
Yeah, it was
he's not Justin Tucker. Okay,
or Brandon McManus.
That's great.
Yeah, man. But the Saints, man, I still think this team has a chance to be really solid, man. Jameis Winston was really good before he got hurt last year.
Yeah, Jameis was solid. They got a
he's
great safety duo too. They got a great secondary. I mean, they signed Tyrann Mathieu,
Marshawn Lattimore.
They got a brand new safety core, and Marshawn Lattimore is probably one of the best, if not the best, cornerback in the game right now.
He just owns Mike Evans. It's like crazy.
He owns anybody.
He owns anybody. I reviewed the tape, and as a Kyle Pitts owner, you don't got to be worried because he was getting a lot of shadow from Lattimore. So
he's probably.
But I think the Falcons can still get 7-8 games. So I'm still feeling good about it. Marcus Mariota is going to find his groove, and
that you can't give up games like that though. It's like unless you got to get them back on the other side. That's the thing. Let's see how they bounce back. Can they get a close one?
They play the Rams next.
They're going to be in a lot of close games, and to be honest, they're going to be. I like them probably for the spread if we're betting throughout the season, just because I feel like they're going to be given a lot of points, and I feel like they're going to be in a lot of close games.
Actually, I agree with that. I feel like so I could totally see this team winning like 4 games and like 7 of their losses were just like heartbreakers. Like I could totally see that being the Falcons season this year, where it just looks like, oh, like here's a chance to pull off a really nice win, pull off an upset, get some momentum going, and they do what they do best and just blow it.
And fourth quarter loss.
And fourth quarter loss. So I agree with you. So they probably do have the talent to win close to 8 games, but they're the Falcons. They're going to have so many games. They're just like, how did the Falcons lose that? But congrats to the Saints, man. Good comeback on the road against a division rival. Those division wins matter, man, especially in week 1. You want to make a statement.
Congrats, Michael Thomas. Big comeback.
Mm-hmm.
It was impressive. There was a lot of people doubting, and I think he proved them wrong.
Slant Boy is back. Let's go. Shout out to Michael Thomas fantasy owners for believing in him. I am not one of them, but it was more when I would have taken him, he was already gone. I would have taken him at certain spots though.
I should have taken him earlier. I feel like that's gonna be the regret of the year.
We shall see. It's only week 1, baby. Just getting started. The Steelers and the Bengals, and probably the craziest game of the weekend.
That was the drunkest game I feel like I've watched in a while.
I mean, that's just classic Steelers Bengals, man. That's just Mitch Trubisky versus the Bengals. You should have known it was going to be some weird stuff and some unorthodox stuff that was going to go on in that game.
I was just watching it, just thinking this game is drunk.
That's exactly what it was. So, first, Joe Burrow's first pass of the year is a pick 6 for the Steelers. Joe Burrow was just absolutely awful in this game. 4 picks, a fumble loss, sacked 7 times, I believe.
It was to Minkah Fitzpatrick, who is absolutely extraordinary in this game.
Yeah, he's one of the best safeties in the game. So, he was great in this game. Bengals were not great in this game. Steelers offense was also not good in this game.
No. It was the drunkest game I've watched.
I'm honestly shocked the Bengals were able to produce 3 touchdowns. I have no idea where
Ja'Marr Chase got that. Amazing.
Yeah, Ja'Marr Chase is great, and I
was watching some of the highlights. He like had 3 or 4 catches that were like where he's like an inch away from another touchdown.
Yeah, he's really.
He had one where he had a toe drag that was literally like an inch away, and then he had another one where he stopped on the 1. Then he had another one. Where
yep.
Yeah, he is really good. Is going to be really good. But yeah, Joe Burrow did not look good. I mean, Joe Mixon also played really great. I think the Bengals will be fine, but to be honest, I kind of envision them to have a little bit of a hangover. I think that everyone was a little too high on them. We had to see what they're going to do with their offensive line, and Joe Burrow is still getting sacked a lot, and just throwing all those picks, man. It did not look good, and it does not bode well, especially because he's playing in a tough defensive division where, I mean, every team can either has an elite secondary or an elite pass rusher.
Yeah, I think was Joe Burrow. So the thing with Cincinnati is they at least attempted to upgrade the offensive line, and they deserve credit for that. But Joe Burrow still took 7 sacks, and I mean, I didn't watch the whole game, but I did see some of it, and unfortunately didn't see any of the sacks. But I do kind of feel like might be on the quarterback just holding the ball too long, and that just might be.
Steelers are good too.
Well, yeah,
TJ Watt was getting to it.
Mike Tomlin always has the Steelers defense ready. Steelers
that front seven is really good.
Steelers defense is hilarious, man. Like
that might be the best part.
They'll get like
part of the team.
They'll get like 5 sacks and 3 turnovers and still give up 30 points. Like they are a weird defense. I will definitely say that. And TJ Watt actually tore his pec and it's going to be out for a while. It doesn't sound like it's going to be season ending, but that's because
that's probably like 2 months.
Yeah, the Watt brothers
at least 6 weeks.
Watt brothers are apparently superheroes because he's only going to be out 6 weeks. Everyone, I guess, like 90% of the time, that's the season ender. He's just like, nah, I'll be back. But yeah, man, Cincinnati did not look good, even though they did almost force a comeback, and actually they almost won the game. But before we talk about that, I quickly want to talk about the Steelers' offense. And this is mostly because there are just a lot of, I shouldn't say a lot. There is a small chunk of Bears fans that still just have this weird love for Mr. Trubisky. I even had one of them say he played really well in this game. He did not. He just didn't play bad. And that's just classic Mr. Trubisky.
He didn't play bad. But
absolutely not. But he was not
get
great
over
either.
it. You got Justin Fields now. Just move on.
I'm just
that's
saying.
How I feel.
I'm just saying.
Any Bears fans who are still thinking about Mr. Trubisky, you got the one.
You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised how many Bears fans were talking about that game because he was in it. And I was just like, I mean, he did what he does best: throw 1 touchdown, throw under 200 yards. That is a Mr. Trubisky special. But. Yeah. Anyway, how this game ended was absolutely insane.
Yes.
Joe Burrow finds Ja'Marr Chase. Actually, first it's 14-20, so the Bengals are down 6. Joe Burrow finds Ja'Marr Chase in the end zone, walk-off touchdown. All you gotta do is kick the extra point. Game over, right? Woo! Nope, absolutely not. What I didn't know was the Bengals long snapper got hurt early in this game. And so they had an inexperienced guy doing it. And apparently something wasn't perfect about the snap. And Minkah Fitzpatrick got a game-saving block on the extra point. Steelers are great at blocking field goals for some reason. I always feel like every year they just have a really good one. But that sent the game.
Perfect timing one, you know.
Yeah, he timed it perfectly. I credit Minkah Fitzpatrick more than I say anyone was at fault there. But it was a great play. But then Bengals get the ball back. So go to overtime. Bengals get the ball. Evan McPherson comes out to kick a game-winning field goal again. But the snap is high. Again, new long slapper. And he misses it very far.
That snap was bad. Yeah, the second one was bad.
Yeah, that one was terrible. And
the one for the extra point wasn't. I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah, but it kind of.
He got blocked.
Yeah, and plus timing is probably off a little bit. Every football.
That's what it is.
Got to be perfect. Yeah, exactly. Everything's got to be perfect in football.
Yep.
And then surprisingly, Chris Boswell comes down. He misses a field goal. So Cincinnati gets the ball back again. And then here we are in overtime. Cincinnati, Joe Burrow gets strip sacked, but they recover it. But it was 3rd down, so they have to punt. And instead of winding the clock out and just getting as low as you could, they punt the ball with like 15 seconds left on the play clock while the clock is running and gives the Steelers the ball back with about a minute left, which made absolutely no sense.
Maybe you think you can force a 3-and-out?
Listen,
I don't know how many timeouts you had, but
Mr. Trubisky may not be able to produce many touchdown drives, but he could definitely produce a field goal drive. That's what he's good at. Moving the ball between the 20s, and it was clutch though.
On that drive, he hit fire moves a couple times.
He made some good plays on that drive.
Yeah,
that's what he's good at. He's great between the 20s. And I don't know why Cincinnati thought they should give them the ball back. You don't give I don't want to say Pittsburgh's a great team, but Mike Tomlin's a great head coach. You don't give those kind of guys any extra chances. You take the tie or hope you get a 3-and-out, and you just go home with that.
But let's be honest, Cincinnati did not deserve to win this game at all.
Absolutely not. Pittsburgh deserved it way more. I would agree with that.
What was the next game?
So this is actually another crazy game that ended with a game-winning field goal. Yeah, this was supposed to be the one where Baker, Browns, Panthers, and Baker was supposed to wipe the floor with the Browns, and he was gonna fuck them up apparently, even though he said he didn't say that. But that is not what happened. That is not what happened. Cleveland was definitely more prepared, and it seemed like Cleveland had something against Baker more than Baker had something against Cleveland. I credit Cleveland. Their running game is still really good. Like, man, Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt probably the best duo in football, running back duo in football. And they just look really good again, man. Kareem Hunt had 2 touchdowns. Nick Chubb was moving the ball, but I don't believe he scored a touchdown. And then Panthers actually clawed their way back into this game and even took the lead. And then next thing you know, rookie Cade York from LSU.
Crazy kick.
58 yards.
Would have been good from 72. Like, that was a crazy kick.
Yeah. Credit Cleveland, man. They played.
They might have been worth that 4th round pick.
Hey, man, you're 1-0 for the first time ever.
Week 1. Yeah, 20 years.
In the history of Twitter, they were able to tweet that Cleveland Browns are 1-0. Wow. First time in Twitter history that was ever tweeted. Yeah, man. Credit. Yeah. Panthers. Matt Rule's gotta get fired, man. I don't know.
I don't like their offense. They have good players, but like I don't like the play calling. I just don't like what they're doing over there. They have good players. Don't waste them. Yeah, it's their prime too. DJ Moore's prime. It should be McCaffrey's prime.
Myles Garrett looked great. I mean, I think Cleveland's going to be able to. I wouldn't be surprised if they're around 500 by the time Deshaun comes back. To be honest, they got a good defense, good run game. They can keep the ball away from the other team.
I still think they finish 500 even with Deshaun though. Even if they are about 500, I don't think Deshaun moves the needle to make them a playoff team. I think he'll keep him.
I think he would make. Oh man, they play the Jets next. Sheesh. Jets with Joe Flacco. That offense did not look good. But yeah, so I could see it because their next 3 games are Jets at home, Steelers at home, and then at the Falcons. They could potentially win all 3 of those and start 4-0. I mean, then they get the Chargers, but that's at home. That's going to be tough.
I'm just
saying, they got the Patriots.
Once Deshaun Watson comes back, they get Houston, but then they have to play Cincinnati, Baltimore, New Orleans, Washington, Pittsburgh. I feel like they could finish good, but I still think they finish like 3-3 in those games.
Yeah, because I mean, after the Falcons, it really starts to pick up. Chargers, Patriots. Well, Patriots might suck. Ravens, Bengals, Dolphins, Bills, Buccaneers, and then you got the. So far, everyone's lost their revenge game, so who knows what's going to happen when Deshaun goes back to Houston. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting, but they do have a chance to get off to a really solid starting game.
I don't know. Dante Pettis won his revenge game.
That is true. Dante Pettis, ultimate fantasy PPR. He had 12 points on 1 target. Impressive.
So definitely not for PPR. Standard.
Hey man, 12 points on 1 target. That is efficiency, if you ask me.
Standard.
Yeah, man. Panthers, they're not a good football team, man. This is probably gonna be Matt Rule's last year. My boy Cortez, shout out to him. He's a huge Panthers fan. Actually, I also work with a Panthers fan. And yeah, man, your team's not good, man.
Just gonna root for the Panthers for some reason. Like,
well, they're both from North Carolina.
If they're playing someone else for some reason, I root for the Panthers. But
they have cool jerseys. I definitely. I have nothing against the Panthers, especially since the Bears beat them all the time. They have a winning.
I feel like I rooted for them against the Patriots in the Super Bowl that one, when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I feel like that's when I liked them.
Yeah. And again, their jerseys are cool. That blue and black combination looks nice.
McCaffrey looked good. I'm gonna say that too. McCaffrey looked good. People are you want to predict injuries all you want, but he didn't look like he was man hurt. You know.
Hey man, listen. I'm just saying
I wish he was used more.
I wish he had like 50 fantasy points in combined in the first 2 weeks last year, and then
he wasn't used that much this year. This week, he only had, I feel like, less than 10 rushes, less than 10 receptions, 10 rushes and 4 receptions. It's not really.
He had 14 touches.
Only 14 touches. Yeah,
man, they are terrified to injure him again.
Yeah,
I feel like Carolina's best chance. I mean, yeah, you want him to stay healthy, but I feel like
But you need to get him the ball.
You got to put the ball in his hands. Only on four targets. That is it in the passing game.
Yeah. 4 receptions, I feel. And, only 4 targets.
Yeah, only caught 4. All of them. Man, Baker had 4 fumbles.
Yes. I don't know if it was the center or him, but shotgun was terrible. They could not do shotgun. It was all on shotgun.
Oh, well, Carolina's going to have to be a team to keep an eye on. Let's see if Matt Rule makes it through the year. I would be pretty shocked if that happened.
Yeah, they stink.
He'll probably make it through the year, but I don't think he'll be there next year.
I don't know, man. Like,
if it keeps up like this, baby, no, man.
Like let's see.
I don't think the Browns are going to be that bad.
Yeah, but this is like one thing. Watching like Matt Nagy this year compared to Matt Eberflus this year, I did not realize like how unprepared the Bears truly looked every game.
The key games for the Panthers are going to be Week 8 against Atlanta and Week 10 against Atlanta. If they don't perform there, that's when you're like, maybe he's going.
They got the Giants next. That's going to be an interesting game.
That's another one. Like, this is another big game because Giants, new head coach, just came off the win. I like the Panthers this week on the road.
We do not have Giants Titans on this list, but that was another weird game right there.
Yeah.
That one cost me money too.
Shout out to Saquon Barkley, man, looking like 2018 form. It's good to see.
They're good.
Not surprised. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of the AFC South, though, let's quickly talk about the only 2 teams that did not lose in the AFC South. However, the AFC South did not win a single game this week either. So the Colts and Texans, man, because the Colts, they do what they do best, and they make sure they never win in week 1. And that is what they did. They made sure they did not win in week 1. Now, credit, they were down 20-3 to the Texans, which is, just embarrassing in itself. And then they did come back, and then Rodrigo Blankenship, who just got cut today, missed the game-winning field goal. And he also had 2 kickoffs go out of bounds. And he had the groin injury last year, so I wonder if that has something to do with that, because he was pretty good before the injury.
You get cut for kicking it out of bounds. You don't get cut for missing field goals.
He did it twice. He didn't. It's not like he only did it once.
That's why you get cut. You can't. That's too many yards to give up.
Yeah, you let the Texans start the 40 twice. But yeah, that game was another really weird one. Questionable. Lovie Smith choosing to punt and accept the tie instead of being aggressive and going for it on 4th down. I don't think it's as crazy as what like Nathaniel Hackett or Zach Taylor did.
No,
because I believe it was a longer 4th down, and they were at like midfield with some time left. I don't think you take the chance of giving the Colts the ball there. But it did end in a tie. We already have our first tie of the year. It's funny, from like 2004 to like 2012, we had like no ties. And then we just been racking them up, I swear, a lot more often over the last 10 years or so. Yeah. But Colts I think they're the best team in a bad division, man.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, They didn't lose, so glass half full, but
they didn't beat the Texans.
They didn't beat the Texans. I mean, it's a divisional game, and you know what? They got Davis Mahomes, but yeah, that was a weird game. That was a really weird one, and I think Colts will definitely be better. They gave Jonathan Taylor the ball 55 times or 700 times or however many times it was, and then Michael Pittman looked pretty good, but the rest of the receiving core did not look good at all.
Yeah, Alex Pierce had a drop in the end zone. That was bad.
Yeah, man. Really, the only wide receiver that looked good from this receiving class was Drake London for the Falcons. All the other wide receivers, and Velus Jones didn't play, so third round.
I don't know. Jahan Dotson looked decent.
Oh, I always forget about him. He's going to be nice at Washington. Only they had a quarterback. Yeah, so weird game there.
They actually had a really good. Their quarterback scored 27 fantasy points.
Yeah, he threw 4 touchdowns this week. So credit to Carson Wentz, man. Like I'll give it to you, but he's usually pretty good at the beginning of the season. So there were some talks, not amongst us, but some talks up there in the experts and the Twitter world and all that stuff that Patrick Mahomes was gonna fall off without Tyreek Hill. He's not gonna be the same guy. He's not gonna be the same guy, man.
Who said that?
There were definitely people saying that.
So now that every team has played, Patrick Mahomes currently leads the league in yards and touchdowns. Yeah, man. This man is
MVP Holmes.
Let me tell you,
after week 1, is he MVP?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. There we go. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a long way to go, but yeah, he's week 1 MVP for sure. Man, Chiefs look like they haven't missed a step on offense. Travis Kelce looked really good. Patrick Mahomes, man. I've decided Patrick Mahomes is my favorite quarterback of all time, man.
He's really fun to watch.
He is just so fun to watch. And it's not like I thought at first I compared it to watching Brett Favre because there just isn't a pass.
Brett Favre was really fun to watch too. As much as I hate the Packers,
But the thing with Brett Favre is the chances he took so many bad ones too. Every time Mahomes throws the ball, I'm like, yeah, this is probably gonna be a completion, no matter where it goes, man. He is just so. I've never seen anyone throw the ball as great as Mahomes does. Yeah, he's my favorite, man. 5 touchdowns this week, week 1. If that's not I don't need Tyreek Hill. I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's a good guy to have on your fantasy team.
Yeah, I know. Shout out to you, Jake. That's what you had.
Yeah, Pat Mahomes. I mean, he looked great. It looked like investing in other places other than wide receiver is going to really pay off for him. Cardinals did not look good. I mean,
at all.
They did not look good at all. You'd expect them to put up a little bit more, but Kyler Murray was just making bad reads. It was just
I was told that Call of Duty had double XP this weekend, so
they did.
So that might play a role in it.
Okay. No, it probably did.
Yeah, Kyler Murray did not look good. And I would truly believe it's not like Kyler's talent, man. But after the story came out about the watching film clause and the Call of Duty, man, you could you kind of see it. You kind of see it. It's like, all right, like we know there's a bunch of throws you can make and how fast you are, but man, it just seems like you still don't know how to read a defense, or you just weren't prepared for what was coming at you. Like that's tough, man, and that's tough, especially after this offseason he had for you to
especially when your coach is mids too.
Yeah, man. Help. Well, let me tell you, I really wish Treston was on, man, because I feel like we're all really starting to hop on his Cliff Kingsbury sucks bandwagon. Yeah, he said it. He said it early last year, and
he didn't help. He doesn't help the cause for them. I don't think he moves the needle. I don't think he wins the division for them. I think they need. But I don't know if they do better without him. That's the other thing.
Shoot, I disagree, man. I don't know exactly what he does. I don't know,
But who do they replace him with that would do better?
Well,
whoever
Mike
Sean
McCarthy,
McVay's
McCarthy's
current
about to
offensive
be
coordinator,
probably whoever last shook. Well, they hired Cliff Kingsbury because Sean McVay vouched for him. So
Exactly.
So I would talk to whoever Sean McVay last shook hands with, and I would hire him.
The defense bad too. I'll give defense didn't help him at all.
Losing Chandler Jones, J.J. Watt also didn't play.
That's big, yeah.
They just didn't have a pass rush at all. He had all day to throw.
Yeah, man. I don't even know who's on their defensive line. I know they got Isaiah Simmons back there at the linebacker spot, and they have Buda Baker at the safety spot. That's really and J.J. Watt didn't play.
Yeah,
so
Mahomes
when he comes back, he'll be
5, but he had so much time. He had all day.
Yeah, man. You give Mahomes all day, it's a touchdown.
Exactly.
it's a touchdown. The defense did not look good. They really only got a couple pieces on defense worth anything. I'm really curious to see how the Cardinals do this year. I do think because of Kyler Murray and they'll eventually get Hopkins back and they have Connor. They do have some talent on offense. I still think they're going to hover around 500. But if that is enough for the 7th seed, because the NFC just doesn't have any top heavy teams, in my opinion.
What does that mean? Top heavy teams?
It really does. Whoever gets the 1 seed, it really does not feel like the 3 seed would be much worse than them. That's what I mean by that.
Okay.
And I do think they're not as good as the AFC powerhouses.
I think if the Bucs could figure out their offensive line.
Yeah, that's what worries me about the Bucs. Their offensive line is going to be very good. They just lost their left tackle now.
Yeah. But if they could, I feel like they are the favorites to me in the NFC.
Yeah. But we could talk about the Bucs in a minute. Moving on to the Raiders and Chargers, which was an interesting game. Devontae Adams looked really good. Derek Carr looked really bad. Chargers as a whole looked really good. The game was the score was 19-24, but it really felt like the Chargers kind of controlled a majority of this game. It kind of felt like between the two, Chargers were the better team. Chargers were more prepared. Brandon Staley punted on a 4th and 1 and shocked the world. No one saw that coming. He must have not played the new Madden yet this year. But it ended up being a really good game, man. I'm still pretty high on the Raiders, but the Chargers look really good, man. Khalil Mack 3 sacks. They're gonna be tough to beat.
Yeah, I mean 3 sacks in his season debut. It's a great
revenge game right there.
They signed some great defensive players, and it's looking like it could be paying off.
J.C. Jackson didn't even play.
Justin Herbert, yeah, and he's still yet to come back. Justin Herbert, I mean, he looks amazing. Their offense just looks like it's firing on all cylinders. I think the Chargers are going to be a dangerous team this year. They're still the Chargers, but they're dangerous.
Yeah, that's
as long as Justin Herbert's healthy, that team, sky is the limit. Super Bowl contender.
Yeah, the only thing is they're the Chargers. That's that's the only thing holding them back is that they're still the Chargers and they're hard to trust because of that.
I really trust that guy behind center though. It's
Justin
the
Herbert?
guy. Yeah, it's the guy with the headset on who I'm not 100%.
Brandon Staley, yeah. Man, yeah, he made some questionable decisions last year, but he was pretty good in this game, so I would give him that.
But he punted on 4th and 1.
Hey, man, if he would have gone for it and not got it, he would have been ripped apart. So, and they won, so it doesn't matter. I bet he wished he didn't call that timeout, though. So, but I'm still high on the Raiders, man. I think that team is still going to be really good. Derek Carr's got to play better, though. 3 picks, that was a career high. Can't do that, man. Can't have 3 interceptions and lose by 5.
The thing is, what they need is to develop a running game. If they had a running game, it would help Derek Carr out so much. But it's just
their offensive line is just god awful still, and it's absolutely terrible, and it's hard to establish a running game with that offensive line.
It's easy to throw 3 picks with a bad offensive line.
Hey, man, I bet they wish they had a first-round tackle that they drafted last year, but they let him go. But, yeah, I still think the Raiders are going to do well. But if I was them, I would look at some possible offensive line help. That sounds easy enough, but it's good luck to them. Good luck to them.
Yeah, it's not a good showing for the Raiders.
Sunday Night Football, man. How about them Cowboys?
What a boring game.
Them boys?
Man, that team is gonna stink it up this year.
I could have told you that.
Yeah, man, but they are just the New York Knicks of the NFL, where there's so many fans that they get all the national televised game, even though everyone else despises them.
They should draft a quarterback.
They already paid Dak, man. I don't know how they're gonna get off that.
Still draft a quarterback. Maybe not first round, but like day 2.
This is Jerry Jones, man. I don't know if he's got it in him. But I will say they're probably gonna fire Mike McCarthy. So
he stinks.
Hey man, I'm amazed he won a Super
Bowl. Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, that just shows how good Aaron Rodgers was that season. But yeah, man, Cowboys. I mean, Dak's out for. I mean, Jerry Jones said 4 weeks maybe, but honestly, I think he's just trying to keep fans invested.
They didn't put him on IR, but I feel like they should. I think they should shut it down and go for a high pick, because that defense is like one big body in the middle away from just being great.
Yeah, the defense is probably just like an inside linebacker away from just being like a top 2-ish, honestly. They got a great corner. Even actually, Trayvon Diggs is the most hit and miss corner in the league, man. He's either giving up a 60-yard touchdown or he's getting a pick. There's no in between with him. But Micah Parsons, man, he's
really good. He could be really good. Depoy this year.
I absolutely agree. He could have been Depoy last year if it wasn't for TJ Watt.
Yeah. He looked really good.
And of course, they still have DeMarcus Lawrence. It really sucks that Leighton Vander Esch isn't really panning out for them. I thought that was a really good pick for them. His rookie year, he was pretty good. If he would have panned out, that defense would have been just nasty. But the defense actually shouldn't be talked about, because the defense did play well, holding the Buccaneers to, I believe, 1 touchdown and then 4 field goals. But their offense was just awful, man. It didn't seem like they were even trying to do anything. Like Dak looked awful. I think he was rated I believe he was rated the worst quarterback even before he got injured. Zeke didn't look great. Tony Pollard didn't look great. CeeDee Lamb, they kept throwing to him into triple covers. He only had 2 receptions. Noah Brown was probably their best offensive player.
This is hands down the worst offensive line Dak Prescott has had in the NFL.
Well, yeah, Connor McGarvin got hurt, and of course Tyron Smith is already out, probably out for the year. Yeah. And I believe they lost another lineman that went down. I can't remember who though. And of course they let Lyle Collins walk. So it's really just Zach Martin holding a bunch of bums together.
And the center is decent.
Yeah, Zach Martin. Yeah, their center is really good. That's literally it.
Yeah.
And then the Buccaneers.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Last thing I'll say is I think the Cowboys are really missing Amari Cooper.
Yeah, and Michael Gallup, man. Like that's a tough drop off. Gallup's injured, and you traded away Amari Cooper and
no vertical threat
running back. Yeah, even though Noah, like I'm curious to see how Noah Brown pans out. I think that's really their biggest hope to probably save their offense. Well, Dak's hurt, so it really doesn't matter now.
Oh no, they're sitting behind the Giants, Commanders, and Eagles, so they're last in the division.
They are last in the division right now, but their defense is really good. So I would not be surprised if there's some games that they win strictly off their defense. But the Buccaneers, between the 20s, they looked really good. It's when they got down to goal to 20 inside of 20 and goal to goal situation. Dallas defense did just turn it up, but Buccaneers.
That's what I was wondering. I was like, is Dallas defense really good? But I didn't like the play calling in the 20s. I don't know who the new guy is.
It's still Byron Leftwich.
Okay. Well, I didn't like the offense when they got in there.
Yeah, it was not great. I do think they're going to clean it up. Tom Brady, Tom Brady's still Tom Brady. Tom Brady didn't look like he was 45. He just looked like Tom Brady. Julio made a couple appearances look really good. Chris Godwin left with an injury, and Mike Evans.
Tom Brady's 45.
Shoot, he might be 55, honestly.
Oh, that's crazy.
But he plays like he's 25.
He can still throw a deep ball.
Yeah, man. He threw that pass to Julio was so nice. Like I can't believe he's doing that at 45 years old.
Yeah, I think they'll figure it out. I think the offense will look better. I mean, that just was a really weird
offensive
game.
line. Offensive line.
A lot of weird
one
games.
thing. The left side of the line was getting wrecked.
Yeah, their left tackle went out.
They need to fix that. If they can fix that, I feel like Hakuna Matata. Like they're
now, to be fair, I do believe both Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence were lining up on that side. So
yeah, true.
So I mean that's tough to deal with.
That's true.
I know Micah Parsons was for sure, and I think DeMarcus Lawrence is also on that side.
Yeah,
so, that's
they were getting destroyed on that left side. Tom Brady was having a tough game because of it, but he still looked good at 45. Man,
Goat, greatest player of all time.
Yeah, a lot of old guys, but it's kind of one last run,
He doesn't look old though. Like when like the last season for Brett Favre
and Peyton, like they looked old.
Just couldn't throw the deep ball. That man just slung that shit 40 yards, perfect. Like,
and the way he manipulates the pocket, like he's not running.
He's slippery still. Like, yeah, he can't get. He's still hard to sack him. Yeah, he's hard to sack. It's impressive.
It is, man. People are gonna miss Brady when he's gone, man. They just truly.
Oh, he'll be on TV, so
that's true. He'll be on Fox. He'll be doing all the big Fox games. It's gonna be great to hear.
He'll be Troy Aikman.
And then before we get to the two games, of course, we love talking about the Monday Night Football game, Broncos versus Seahawks. Russell Wilson's return to Seattle. And first, let me say this. I totally understand that both Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon fumbled at the 1 yard line. And those are two big momentum changers. I totally understand that. And it should not be ignored. However, this was probably one of the worst coaching debuts I have ever seen from anyone. Nathaniel Hackett. That was bad. That was horrible.
It was embarrassing how at the end when they lost the game when he took those 2 timeouts.
Even before that, there were so many times like the play clock was winding down, and you could tell that Denver's offense still had no idea what they were getting ready to do.
They should have took timeouts way earlier.
Yeah, they just looked totally unprepared. They had a bunch of penalties. Defense looked pretty good, but I mean, you're playing Geno Smith. You should look pretty good against Geno Smith. And
I feel like the starters playing 0 snaps in the preseason might have affected the sloppiness and the delay of game penalties. Like, looked sloppy.
And the offenses across the league did not look good in week 1. I'll say that. Only a few did. And of course, Pat.
I feel like that was the most delay of game penalties we saw was the Broncos. Yeah, granted, the 12th man is hard. That's named that for a reason, but
yeah, that they just look totally unprepared, man. And then of course the ending where 4th and 5, you got your $250 million quarterback back there, and you're just letting the clock run. You have 3 timeouts, you're just letting it run, and then you get it. Then you let it go down all the way to 20 seconds on 4th and 5, and then you call a
64-yard field goal.
Yeah, you call a timeout and then kick a 64-yard field goal, even though your kicker had never made it over 62 yards.
Even though you just paid Russell Wilson $256 million.
It's 5 yards, and it's not like you only had it. You had 2 timeouts, so when you get the first, you have a timeout, and then you can still run another play.
The thing is, he makes that 64-yarder, and they still have a chance to lose on a field goal. So
I don't know what made him think he was going to make the 64 yards.
I don't either. I would at least try to get him that 5 yards. I'm at least thinking my guy can make a 58-yarder maybe, like if we get the first down. I'm trusting the quarterback. I just paid $256 million on 4th and 5.
Yeah, that was just terrible play calling. I mean, Wilson was playing pretty good. He was starting to heat up there in the fourth quarter, and for them just to do that was.
I think it's going to take a couple of time, but don't write off Denver yet.
I'm not going to, because they have a great quarterback, good weapons. Javonte Williams, I don't know why he had 11 catches, but he only ran the ball 7 times, and he was averaging like 5 yards a carry, and they just stopped. I don't know why he did not get the ball more in the run game. It makes Nathaniel
Vegas.
Nathaniel Hackett, man. Like I don't know what's up with dude.
I mean, Melvin Gordon's still pretty good too. That's the thing about it.
But that's the thing, and their defense is still going to be pretty good. Their defense was pretty good in this game.
But so why is Melvin Gordon getting almost twice as more carries, but he's not getting as many yards?
I don't know, man. You got to ask Nathaniel Hackett, man.
Yeah,
you got to ask.
I mean, it's the same thing that we saw last year. I think we'll see that. They probably just don't want to run Javonte into the ground.
He's like 23, man. Like,
he got a bunch of catches.
Yeah, he got a bunch of receptions, but 7 carries is ridiculous. And then, of course, you only have 2 timeouts, and there's less than 20 seconds left on the clock, and you use both of them. I don't understand that.
Yeah, that was just disrespectful to me. I just take the L like a man. Yeah. Chalk it up. Next week you got it. Like I was really annoyed by that. I thought that was just I don't know. There's some sort of etiquette, and I feel like that was just.
When you're taking a knee, you're waving the white flag, and that means like, hey, it's over. Like
exactly, we won. We're not gonna get more yards on you. We're not gonna try to score. Like we won. Like the game's over.
He must have had Geno Smith's rushing yards hitting a certain under. Like that's the only thing.
Maybe.
Yeah. So I mean, if there was any coach, I was just like, man, I just like can't believe it. It is Nathaniel Hackett, man. That might have been one of the worst coaching openers I've ever witnessed. First time head coach, man, and that's how you open. Good luck keeping that. And then what made it even worse is today he came out and said, I regret that decision. Oh, come on, dog. Now, no, man, you gotta double down on it. Like, hey, I believe him. You gotta be like,
I like that. Already? Actually, I like that. He said, no.
Now you're like, now you basically throwing your kicker under the bus. Double down on him, man. You be like, hey, I believed in my kicker, and you were incorrect.
You were incorrect, but also I like that he said he was wrong, because he was. We're all thinking it. Broncos fan is thinking it. If you want to get any respect, you got to be accountable. Like, if you really think, oh yeah, then you better send Brandon McManus out there for 60 yarders on the regular. Like, I'm not about to hear that.
Oh man. Yeah, so that's gonna ruin Russell Wilson's home opener.
Well,
I mean, it's not gonna ruin it, but fans are gonna have their doubts.
I feel like I don't write them off yet. I still like the Broncos to finish good. I feel like
I like the Broncos players.
I like the Broncos players.
Their coach took a major hit for me, though.
I do like the players. The penalties killed them, though, on offense. There was bad penalties and the bad fumbles. Other than that, it's one of those games that they just get, like the Bengals. Like, they had every opportunity to win, and they just didn't.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, the fumbles, they shouldn't be ignored, man. They fumbled at the one twice. Like,
twice.
That's crazy to me. Fumble at the 1 2 different times is. I don't know if that's ever happened before.
It's probably happened before, but I don't think anyone's ever won when they done that. So you got to expect to lose.
But congrats to Seattle and congrats to Geno, man. Because let's be real, that's probably their Super Bowl this year.
PFF has Geno Smith as the number 2 ranked quarterback last week.
They have Pat Mahomes 7th, man.
I know, that's what I was trying to tell.
I can't stand their grading, man. Their grading is so terrible.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes was leading the league in yards, touchdowns.
They had
no
Josh
turnovers.
Allen won. No turnovers. Josh Allen had 2 interceptions, but he's number 1. Okay.
Don't do grading, man. Don't do grading. And then, oh man, I had a point about Russell Wilson. Now I'm completely blanking on.
He's short.
But I remember now. Why do his teammates not like his former teammates not like him? Like, I don't understand that.
Did you see him before the game? He was just listening to Jesus rap in the middle of the field, just ignoring everybody. Like,
I feel like he has to be like, not to. I don't want to like pick on Christians here because I have a lot of Christian family, Christian friends. But I don't know, man. Maybe because he's like judgmental.
I don't feel like he's very warm, embracive. I don't feel like he went up to the Seattle teammates and was like, "Hey, guy, like, remember?" I don't think they have any good times to reminisce on. Yeah. I feel like he's more of a loner to himself. He plays football with the guys, but he's not like,
he's a family man. That's kind of what he does. He likes to hang with the family, stay on. Yeah, you don't ever see him out really doing much. Okay, I can see that. But still, man, Doug Baldwin, Richard Sherman, I think Bobby Wagner also took a shot at him. Not this year, but I think he took a shot at him before.
That defense was so good. So they should have won another Super Bowl.
Like, if he doesn't throw the pick, that might have been a downfall right there. I bet. What if he's the one who wanted to pass it? I just opened up a whole can of worms right there. Hey, man. Come on the show, Russell. Tell your truth.
Yeah, what if he audible?
What if he called it audible? Hey, we may have just solved the case. All right. Now to talk about 2 games that, well, you two were excited for one game. I was excited for a different game.
This was an exciting game. It was messy, disgusting game to watch.
That's right.
Squeezing the field.
Chicago Bears, baby. Starting the season 1-0 as we upset the San Francisco 49ers in a freaking tsunami, in a monsoon, in a tornado, and whatever other natural disaster involving water you want to call it. Man.
Monsoon, that fits.
So this game did not start well for the Bears offensively. First half, they were it looked very much like Matt Nagy in the first half. Absolutely.
But some bad penalties too.
Yeah, and the defense definitely held its own in the first half to force the Deebo Samuel fumble while they were driving, and just held its own. Got sacks on Trey Lance, made him uncomfortable. But they did allow a touchdown late to Deebo Samuel. And then they have probably the weirdest penalty I have ever heard. And because
that was so weird.
And because the Bears won, it's just hilarious now.
If what was it lost, for like going on the field or something?
Yeah, so
wiping the field
Trenton
with the towel.
Wiped the field with the towel. And apparently that is before a field goal. And apparently that is illegal. I am so curious to know how many people actually know this.
I didn't know that rule.
I had no idea. Yeah. Cairo Santos said
congrats. My guy got an A in referee school.
Cairo Santos said that they weren't wiping it, they were trying to flatten it, and that he had did that before last year in Seattle in the snow. So he had no idea.
He didn't get an A+ in ref school.
Yeah, that guy didn't call it. Cairo said he had no idea that, so he asked Trenton to do it, and he had no idea that rule existed. An unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on a punter during a field goal. That's gotta be the first time I have ever heard that, and it's because he used a towel to wipe the field. Knocked the Bears out of field goal range. They had to punt instead. What? I don't even know what that was.
I feel like my guy just wanted to punt. He didn't want to hold the ball. He wanted to kick it.
He's like, what obscure penalty can I get here so I can get the shine here instead of you? But yeah, Bears were just
Justin Fields looked great, man. To me, I don't want to say great, but
he played good.
He pushed through adversity. Those were tough conditions. He looked better than Trey Lance to me.
Yeah,
Trey Lance looked pretty good too.
He had a bad. Justin Fields had a bad pick in the first half, but
Justin Fields is going to have bad picks all year.
Yeah, but
it's going to be part of the game.
After watching a breakdown on it, I feel a little better about it.
But that touchdown is something special. That's something a lot of quarterbacks cannot make that play out of that play.
So, yeah, in the second half, man, Bears offense, especially Justin Fields, just came more alive. They got a lot of help from penalties, too, man. San Francisco did not play well in this game at all. But, yeah, they had a 51-yard touchdown to Dante Pettis, 12 PPR points on one target. Efficiency, man. Go pick up Dante Pettis right now. That's my fantasy advice for you.
My fantasy advice is don't pick up any Bears. So
yeah, because Cole Kmet has 0 catches. Darnell Mooney had 1. David Montgomery has 17 carries for 26 yards. Pick up Khalil Herbert, maybe. He had a pretty
maybe. He
had 45 yards and a touchdown. And maybe Justin Fields. But yeah, so the Bears offense, San Francisco kicked a field goal early in the second half, and then the Bears rattle off 19 straight points, 3 touchdowns. They missed 2 extra points, unfortunately, to take the lead and just keep it. What you were saying, Jake, is that Justin Fields made that throw to Pettis, and that was special.
It wasn't just that; it was the awareness to get away from the rush and to know that his guy was wide open on that side of the field.
So that's the thing
in the pouring rain.
So that's the thing about Justin Fields, man. He either just makes these plays where you're like, "Wow, this guy is amazing," or he just does something boring, like he just makes either amazing plays or he just there's just plays where he gets 3-4 yards. You're just like, all right, well, what was the point of that? But he looked really good in the second half. He was very much improved. First half, he was not very good. I think he was 4 of because he finished 8 of 17. I think he was 4 of 11 in the first half, and then he went 5 of 8 in the second half, I believe is what it was. Something like that. Maybe it's 4 of 9, something like that. But the Bears defense looked really good. They were definitely the most impressive unit out there, out in the game in the pouring rain. And you know what? I'm looking forward to see what how the offense looks in what not rainy condition, because they were being super conservative. And again, what was most impressive is they made adjustments in the second half, which is something they never did under Matt Nagy. They literally just rolled with the same thing over and over and hope it will work. But they got the W. That's what's most important. And they should have been over 20 points, but 2 missed extra points. Stop that. 3 touchdowns. That's probably a career high.
What's up with Bears kickers? Are you ever going to find one?
So I will say this. One, Cairo had been solid since he arrived in Chicago. So I'm going to say that's more on the weather. Okay. I would say that. Now we'll see how the season progresses. But that's what I'm hoping, that the weather was really bad and that's what caused those 2 misses. But as for San Francisco, man, they were just super undisciplined. So many penalties on third down too. Trey Lance, he looked okay. There was a few throws he made. I was like, okay, yeah, man, this kid got it. And then he missed. There's 2 major ones that he missed. He overthrew Tyler Kroft, and then he threw the pick to Eddie Jackson that kind of sealed the game.
Bad pick.
Yeah, man, but he's still young, man. I still really believe in Trey Lance. I think he's still going to be really good in this league. But
I agree. You just got to live with those picks with those young quarterbacks, I feel like, because it's just they just didn't see it.
Yeah, but I saw the high for both Fields and Lance, man. I saw the highs where you're like, okay, yeah, this guy's going to be really good. And I saw the lows, which is causing people for some concern in both quarterbacks. But it doesn't matter because the Bears got the win. And Nick Bosa only got half a sack. And Braxton, shout out to Braxton Jones, man. He wasn't great, but he wasn't awful either. And that's what you need out of your left tackle. We need you just to not be awful. Roquan Smith led the team in sacks. Brisker got a fumble recovery. Kyler Gordon got torched a little bit, but hey, man, rookie corner.
Looking forward, do you like them Sunday night versus the Bears prime time
versus the Packers
on the road, or the Packers? Yeah.
So I will say this: I believe if they were to win that game, that is some great momentum.
Because then they play the Texans and the Giants, so that could be 4-0.
I mean, so their next 10 are Texans, Giants.
They have to play the Vikings. That's
so that was
L.
in Minnesota. That's going to be tough. I don't know, automatic L, but it'll be tough. And then they played the Commanders. We're going to talk about them. They were good, but then they played the Commanders. Then they played the Patriots. And then Cowboys possibly without Dak. I don't know. Cowboys didn't look that good with Dak, so I don't know if that makes much of a difference. Then the Dolphins, which is going to be tough. Then the Lions, Falcons, and Jets. And then the Packers at home before their bye week. So if they could beat the Packers in Green Bay, their next 10 minus I'd say probably the Miami game and the Vikings game. They are all I'd say those two are also winnable, but they definitely shouldn't be favored in either of those matchups.
They're not going to be favored in any matchups. So the Bears.
They'll be favored against Houston.
Maybe.
I guarantee it. I'm willing to guarantee that they're favored against Houston, unless they just get ran off the field against.
I don't know.
Houston's playing Denver this week. Unless Houston wins and Chicago gets ran off the field, Chicago is going to be favored in that game. It's in Chicago too.
Okay, yeah.
It's in Chicago.
Well, maybe give them 2.5, 1.5.
It won't be much, but they'll be favored. I think they're going to be favored against the Giants too. But yeah, man, if they could beat the Packers, that can be some serious momentum going into all the way up to their bye week, in my opinion. However, because the Packers lost, actually they got embarrassed by the Vikings. Because that happened, I do have this fear that Aaron Rodgers is just going to come out super pissed off, pop some shrooms, take a Percocet, and just go out and just absolutely torch the Bears and take out all his frustration on them.
Aaron Rodgers looked good. It wasn't the problem. The receivers looked bad. There was some bad drops that could have changed the game for the Packers. If we want to get into this Vikings-Packers game now, Packers, I don't want to say, if you're a Packers fan, don't give up hope yet.
They
feel
lost
like
38-3 last year in week 1.
Exactly. To the Saints, the Aints.
Yeah. They didn't even make the playoffs.
Yeah. So, and, Christian Watson, if he would have caught that ball, it would have been a whole different game. Momentum would have been different. It would have been a closer finish. So It just all comes out to a couple plays. Vikings looked good, though. Let me tell you, I've never seen Justin Jefferson so wide open in my life. I don't know what Kevin O'Connell is doing over there. But coach of the year so far, week 1.
Yeah, well, it's opposite of Nathaniel Hackett. I'll say that for sure. Yeah, man, Justin Jefferson, man, he has a good chance to be the best receiver in football this year. I'm not going to take that away from him. He had Cooper Kupp last year and had him looking like the best wide receiver in football. So I don't see why Justin Jefferson couldn't take over that mantle next.
He's going to break all the records.
Yeah, man. And then
Kirk Cousins.
The defense looked really good. I mean, Kirk Cousins plays.
Patrick Peterson got burned by Watson that one play. That should have been a touchdown. But other than that, I didn't see much sloppiness.
Yeah, man. Kirk Cousins just plays really well against the Packers. I don't know what that's about. There's one good opponent Kirk Cousins plays really well against. It is Green Bay.
Let's see if he plays good Monday night this week. That's what I want to know.
Against Philly. That's going to be really tough. But yeah, man,
it's going to be a great game.
The Vikings look good. Packers, not so much. Packers still have a lot of injuries on offense, though. Alan Lazard didn't play in the game. Both their tackles are out. It sounds like both their tackles and one of their guards aren't playing Sunday night either, but it is only Tuesday as we record this, so things could change quickly. First injury report comes out tomorrow. We'll see if any of them practice.
So before that game, they were plus 3,400 to win the Super Bowl for
the Vikes.
Now they're plus 2,400 in one game.
Oh man,
they look great.
You know, it looked good to me. Super Bowl Vikings, first Bills is looking good to me for week 1.
Man, well, so what if they just get throttled by Philly though? I don't think that's going to happen. I think it's going to be a really good game, and I think Philadelphia is going to win with it being in Philadelphia, home opener, and the Vikings are coming to town for I believe for the first time since the NFC Championship.
Jalen Hurts is going to turn this ball over a few times. Just be ready for that.
I mean, how many turnovers did Rodgers have? One? He had a pick, right?
Yeah.
Rodgers was also the only quarterback in the NFC North who has not thrown a touchdown. All the other 3 threw 2. So good job, Vikings. I actually appreciate that.
Who is Fields' other touchdown to?
He threw one to Dante Pettis and one to
was it Herbert?
And one to St. Brown.
Oh, St. Brown.
Yeah. So yeah, Vikings did look good, man. So I had to redo my standings predictions because Tristan accidentally deleted mine. And I had no idea. I didn't write it down anywhere else. So I had to redo. I kept my awards and my Super Bowl pick the same. But there's some teams I moved around. I did end up picking the Vikings to win the division. I think Packers offense is gonna take a step back just a little bit. Especially them still dealing with injury. No one like David.
You don't work for mainstream media. You don't have to hold the water for the Packers. It's fine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And David Bakhtiari has not played in like 6 years, man. Like, when is he coming back? I think that's the biggest question mark for them, because if you can't protect Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be a really long day for him, and he's going to get to meet Robert Quinn next week. And I don't wish for injuries, but it'd be really nice if those tackles just took another week off. But I doubt that. I honestly doubt that they are, because you really don't want to go 0-2 in the division. So I would not be surprised if they come back.
Oh, you switched some predictions up too.
Switch them up, huh?
Yeah, you did. He said MVP Kirk Cousins. No way.
No, Tristan said that.
Oh, this is Tristan's.
Yeah, that's Tristan.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Tristan. Come on, I never would pick Kirk Cousins for MVP, man. He would already have to win one first.
I was like, Kirk Cousins is not MVP. As much as
Tristan.
I want to believe that. Yeah.
I wish Tristan was.
Never know.
You got the Raiders winning the West, bro.
Yeah, man, but I have it being really close. I like coming down to the final game of the season. And I don't think it would make a difference. I still think the Chiefs are going to do really well. I think you're sleeping on the Raiders.
They could turn it around, maybe, but
they barely lost to the Chargers.
Chargers are not good either.
So the entire AFC West outside the Chiefs just aren't good now. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can vibe with that. That's the best division of football, in my opinion. So yeah, before we end the show, just real quick, our producer Zay made a suggestion for something we can end the show with. Just some fantasy talk, just because we all love playing fantasy football. So just like real quick, who is a non-obvious starter y'all would suggest
for week two?
For week 2.
There's a lot of guys I like for week 2.
A lot of guys I like too for week 2.
I was gonna say Javonte Williams, but Javonte Williams is an obvious starter.
I like AJ Dillon versus the Packers, if we're gonna be honest.
Versus the Bears. You keep mixing
the Bears.
Up.
Yes, I do keep missing them up. Yes. Versus the Bears. Sunday night primetime. AJ Dillon versus the Bears. I mean, it might be kind of obvious after the week 1 he had.
Yeah, he had a nice week 1.
I like Antonio Gibson a lot versus Detroit this week. I think he's gonna have a great week. I like Thielen to have a bounce back week. There's a lot of guys I like to have a bounce back week after a slow week 1. I like Mike Williams a lot this week against the Chiefs without Keenan Allen.
Yeah, I think. I
like Mark Andrews.
It's not going to be a sleeper, but I think Jonathan Taylor is going to tear up Jacksonville.
Don't tell me that. I'm playing against Jonathan Taylor this week, so I don't need that kind of energy. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say Cole Kmet. I would only start him if your tight end is like not one of the big names, but I do think he's gonna bounce back. 49ers have a really good linebacking core.
Fred Warner is probably the best cover linebacker.
Agreed. And Green Bay's linebacking core is not nearly as good. They do have a rookie back there, Quay Walker, and Devondre Campbell is pretty good, but I mean he's no Fred Warner. So he had no receptions this week, but I expect him to bounce back. It is supposed to rain in Green Bay, so I don't know how much that's gonna affect the game plan for Chicago if they're gonna do something similar. I doubt it. But I expect him to bounce back. I think he could have a big night against Green Bay because I don't know who they're gonna put on him because they're gonna put Jair. Well, shit, Jair wouldn't. They wouldn't even put Jair on Justin Jefferson. So, so apparently their number one corner isn't gonna follow the best receiver. So I'm just lining Darnell Mooney up against Eric Stokes and hoping for the best. And if Green Bay secondary plays anything like they did against the Vikings, I would say Cole Kmet is in for a pretty nice day. I want to say Darnell Mooney, but I feel like they're going to scheme to take him away.
I like it. Let's see. Any other fantasy guys we like? Sleepers.
Hey, CeeDee Lamb, man.
I mean,
CeeDee Lamb
it's week one. I think we see a lot of guys have like bounce back weeks just for quiet week one. I mean, there's a lot of week one overreactions, but there's a lot of guys that I think that people are starting to worry about very prematurely that definitely don't need to.
Yeah, I think don't quote me on this, but I think Cortland Sutton could win you week 2. Start him.
Cortland Sutton. Are you are we out on Travis Etienne? And Cam Akers. I'll throw both of them out there. Travis Etienne and Cam Akers.
I think they'll both be.
They're worth holding, but they're probably.
I don't think they're not. They're never going to be worth their.
With ADP. Caution, yeah, with caution.
I think Etienne's production is going to go up. I am a little nervous about. I don't have Cam Akers, so I am a little nervous. Cam Akers' production might. I mean, I expect it to be a little better, but I think Henderson is going to be the lead back in that offense if he's healthy. I mean,
it seems like James Robinson has a lot of work too. So
yeah, he did get a lot of work, but I feel like Trevor Lawrence is going to eventually go back to.
But the thing is, Etienne had 11 yards, like 12 yards of carry. It's only 4 carries, but
yeah, and then Trevor missed them on. He only had 4 carries.
He missed them in the end zone. It should have been a touchdown.
And then he dropped one that also should have been a touchdown.
So I'm not really worried about Etienne. It's just I have to see it first.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Breece Hall and Dameon Pierce too. Yeah, Dameon Pierce got severely outworked by Rex Burhead. So that is a bit of a concern.
I'm between Etienne and Henderson this week, and I'm starting Henderson. I think, unless Godwin plays, and I might just start Chris Godwin.
Yeah, I think starting Henderson is the right move.
Shout out to Atlanta. I feel like that's a good fantasy play. Darrell Henderson versus Atlanta. Book it.
And man, a guy me and Will were kind of high on, and it's still it's only week 1, but he was inactive this week. Tyler Allgeier was inactive this week.
I don't think he's gonna be. I don't know if I was necessarily high on him. I like
that's like a late guy. That's a late year guy, maybe.
Yeah, I think that could change as the year goes on. I was just kind of shocked. He was projected to possibly take touches from Cordero, and then he just didn't play, and then didn't play week 1.
Patterson looked nice.
I mean, was he like 41 years old, still getting carries?
He's at least 36.
I think him and LeBron went to school together. That's what it is. Him and Tom Brady was just a year ahead of him.
You know who I'm sitting this week in fantasy football? Harrison Butker, Thursday night. Get a new kicker.
Pick up Justin Reed. Honestly, I'm curious to know, like, if Kansas City doesn't sign a kicker, could you pick up Justin Reed? Because that is who their backup kicker is.
I wouldn't do it. Pick up Cade York if you need a kicker. Nobody drafted him 100%.
The Browns drafted him.
Nobody drafted him in your 14-man league. However many men in your league, Cade York is on the waiver wire. Go grab him.
All right. Before we get out here, what's your week 1 overreaction? Go.
Week 1 overreaction. The Vikings are going to go to the Super Bowl.
You believed that before week 1, so
Let's see. Week 1 overreaction. That the Atlanta Falcons aren't going to win 8 games.
Okay.
No, I think the week 1 overreaction is probably. Man, that's tough. I think it's going to be the 49ers. I think they're still going to be really good.
Okay.
Week 1 overreaction. Carson Wentz is a good quarterback.
That's a good one, honestly. Let's see. If I had to pick a week 1 overreaction, the Cowboys are going to be better with Cooper Rush than they were with Dak Prescott.
I mean, you can't. He just has to win one game.
They looked awful other than the first drive, and I feel like Cooper Rush is going to come in. They're going to look okay, and then Dak's going to come back and they're going to look bad again. Then, like I said, it's an overreaction, so I would not be surprised at all if I'm wrong. All right, y'all. I would say that was a good show. Week 1 football is back, man. Week 1 is here.
Football.
Man, I'm so nervous for Sunday Night Football next week, man. I'm so nervous, man. Because if we win, I'm gonna be insufferable. But
yeah,
we're either gonna win or we're gonna get blown out. I don't feel like we're gonna lose close. like that's one thing I don't feel good about is us losing a close game. We're either gonna win it or we're gonna get blown out. And I just pray we don't get blown out.
I forgot you guys are gonna lose in a close one.
Nah, man, it's not gonna be close, man. Rodgers is just gonna if Packers win, it's gonna be Rodgers just absolutely shitting on the Bears. That's
in the fourth quarter. But I feel like you'll get them to the 4.
I appreciate you believing, Jake. I appreciate that.
But, no, it's not much though. I just think the Packers are still figuring it out. I feel like the defense of the Bears is enough where they can slow down that running game enough where it'll be close until, it's, fourth quarter Aaron Rodgers versus the Bears. Until he pops the turkey.
Yeah, until he gets them shrooms and then just comes out and just absolutely lights us up. Anyway, I'm still rooting for my Bears. I'm going to believe they're going to win. All right, let's go. I'm Marcel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at @Styles_RapIsLife. That's both of them. Hey, man, the Bears won, so I've just been all over Twitter hearing 49ers fans cry about the rain. It's supposed to rain. It's supposed to rain Sunday in Green Bay, too. The Bears might be doing back-to-back rain games, and they're already 1-0 in those. So, hey, man, maybe the rain's good luck. I hope it rains every time they play if they win this week. But, yeah, go give me a follow. Your team's trash. My team is the best. 1-0, baby.
Signing off here. This is Will. As always, follow me at Sports Talk Willie. Vikings to the Super Bowl, baby. Check out the main page at Across the Plane.
Jake the Rookie, THA, just like Across the Plane. Make sure to follow us on everything across the board. Thanks for joining us. Peace. Should have said Across the Plane, man. I fucked it up.